Okay, so today we go through HPALM. Okay, so we know about Rally, so we've gone through Rally. Okay, we have gone through Jira, so you guys have also maybe practiced Jira. Okay, so it's a test management tool. Basically, what I'm trying to say is all test management tools. You will be only using one, not all of these. You will not be using everything in one at the max two, because sometimes, right, what happens whenever you open like some issue, right, some ticket or defect, now developers might be using a different tool, you might be using a different tool. Okay, so you might use one tool here. Okay, while you open a defect, what happens is, sometimes, let's say you are using some tool like HPL. Okay, that defect is converts into Jira. Okay, Jira issue. Okay, now that Jira ID, and then it integrates. So there are the integration mechanism where they can integrate that issue to this, and wherever developer receives it, they show it up in Jira. But you are opening in different tools. So that is a rare scenario what you will be getting. So that is not really efficient way of doing the work, not really productive. But but it might be that might be also the case. Okay, so that's the reason, right? You already know two tools, right? One is Rally. What I have shown you, you know how to use this. This is simple and easy. Actually, most important is easy. Just go here, click that user story. Okay, click where where you're supposed to write, your test cases, and open the defects. Okay, here you can do that. Okay, and this is pretty easy. In Jira, we have seen. Okay, just you can, this is from in whatever the issue is, whatever is it you're using. Is it a user story? Is it a test cases, or is it you create only from one button? That's from create button. Okay, just create here, and make sure which project you're working on. There's plenty of projects. Here we only show it up here too, but there's more projects. Okay, and make sure which project you're working on, and then what is your issue type. Is it a task, improvement, and anything, whatever you're starting up will be here, in summary and description, and attach screenshots. Okay, so this is pretty simple. As this two tools goes on. Like this is a Rally, and this is a Jira. Both are test management tools. Okay. Why am I saying these many tools? Because you don't know which tool you're using at the client place, and even client even don't know. Sometimes client don't know, so they will be using some tool, and let's say they suddenly migrate into another tool. So once they migrate it, they even don't know how to use it. Okay, so once you have some idea, some knowledge on that tool, that might help you out. Okay, that might help you out, so you can work yourself. You don't need any help. Okay, so that's the reason. So let's go ahead and let me give an introduction on HPLM, since everyone wants HPLM. So why not just let me also thought of giving some idea on HPLM. Let me just show you pretty quick. In 1 hour class, I'll just finish this. That's a very good question. Yeah. So somebody asked, right? So what's the big deal? What's the big deal between Jira, and Rally? So that's a very good question. So again, coming to same point, both are test management tools. One is developed from CA Technologies, that is Rally, and Jira is developed from Atlassian company. So, two different companies, nowhere related to each other. You don't have to, know both the tools simultaneously. The only reason why you want to know is because, you're putting something in your resume. So to justify that, that yes, I know this tool. I have used it. I know how to use it. Okay, I know how to operate this tool. For that reason, you need to know all this. Okay, otherwise, one tool is enough. Stick with Rally. It's up to you. Okay, you don't have to know everything. So I'm telling you everything because it's good to know. If you don't even know. Sometimes, okay, when you go to the client place, you might, get something different tool. Okay, clear quest. Clear quest. You might use clear quest. So now you cannot, ask me. Okay, so Manu didn't told me. He told only Rally. He told HPLM, but he never told about clear quest. So that should not be the case. Okay, that is not the no, that's not the answer. The thing is, as I always tell you, get used to process, not the tool. Okay, so let's quickly check HPLM. So if you need access to HPLM, go ahead, and request to Tagore. You have the Tagore's email ID, right? So go ahead and request to Tagore. Okay, he'll be giving you access to this tool. Something. Okay. So once you log in into this, I'll be giving you overview. So I'll not go more into detail. If you want to know more, okay, I would say just stick to one tool such as Rally, because you have every time access for this. Yeah, there is some issue. Maybe some people were not able to access this. Did someone face any problem with Rally? Did someone face any? If you have any issues, let me know. If I check with, we can check. Okay. Any other people who faced issue with Rally? So I don't think you might have issue if you have wait for a like just 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and try it again. Maybe it should have worked. Okay. So stick to this tool if you have if you don't have. Otherwise, let's say even if that tool doesn't work, so you don't have to stop, right? You don't have to stop. Looking at no, Rally doesn't work now. I don't know what to do. That should not be the case. If Rally doesn't work, go to Jira. Okay, Atlassian, you have access to this Atlassian tool. Go ahead with Jira, access it. Use that one. If you don't even if you Jira doesn't work, go to Team Foundation server. Even Team Foundation doesn't work, go to HPLM. No, my point is like whatever is not working, you have options, right? Everything is similar process. You just need to get used to that. Okay. Okay, so here's the thing. This is HPLM. Okay. Once you log in into it, once you log in, you have this, user interface. This is pretty old. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not old. It's really obsolete in agile environment. In agile environment, I mean, seriously, I would not really recommend this. There's better tools than HPLM. Even if your client is using, you need to recommend them saying that HPLM is not really, efficient tool. Okay, so it might be good. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It is not efficient. Why? We'll discuss here, for that here. Because you are working on more and moving your test cases, and this is really stressful. This is really, this makes you really stressful. You need to move your test cases from one place to another. Then you need to, that is from test plan to test lab. Then execute the test cases. Now you need to, once you execute it, it might have own issues. Okay, so that's the reason, right? It's really time consuming. It's a time consuming in agile environment. So in agile, time is really, really very important, because one day get the build, next day finish testing. Okay, that's it. That's the amount of time. That means you are ready with the test cases. Everything is good. It's no time, and the build might get same day. You may start testing right. 3 p.m. Okay, 3 p.m. start testing. 5 p.m. sign off. That's it. that's the quick it happens in agile. So in that scenario, it's not really recommended to use agile. Yeah, of course, if you're using waterfall methodology, you have plenty of time to spend. Do your 6-month project. No, it's very easy. Then you can use this. So this is user interface. You have this way. So here, as a tester point of view, what we really require here is requirements. Okay, so only four tabs. Four tabs. We only require 4 tabs. Here, what are they? Requirements tab. Here, when you click on the requirements, here what we do, of course, as usual, you just view this requirements. What exactly are the requirements and what you are trying to do? Okay, and then what you do in the test plan, you write the test cases. That's it. No other business and test plan module. You do nothing. Just write the test cases. Don't execute. You cannot even execute in test plan module. Okay, so there is no way to do that. Test lab, you actually execute your test cases. Okay, here you execute the test cases. All the results are shown up here. Okay, and defects module, you open the defects. So as a tester point of view, we only concentrate in these 4 important modules. What are they? Requirements module, where you view the requirements. You do nothing. You don't write requirements. You don't do anything of sort. You just only view the requirements. Just what the requirement is, what is supposed to do, and what your job is. You need to write test cases right after viewing the requirement. So okay. So that's the requirements tab. You view the requirements. Test plan. You write the test cases. You only write the test cases. Okay. In test lab, you only execute the test cases. So now this test lab is not so simple. You need to pull test cases from test plan. Okay. We'll just look this into a moment. How do we do that? And that's a little bit confusing, because the moment I write test cases, I want to execute, right? I don't pull out and pull in. What's it all about? We don't want to have this unnecessary one, but you need to do in this. And then defects module, we open defects. That's the 4 major important modules. Let's go a little bit in detail on this. So in the requirements here, as usual, we put some information whenever, let's say, in business analyst or product owner opens a requirement. So we cannot create a new requirement. So here we can do, but as a tester, you don't have access to creating a new requirement. So this is disabled. Just like this. You cannot create requirements because you're a tester, not a business analyst. Okay. So once all this is created, you view these requirements. Okay, so here you have various tabs. Okay, attachment. If you have attachment, go ahead and look into this attachment. That might say something, or some tables information, or some data information, or some information which is not there in the detailed section. Okay, and you want to look into this. You want to see if there's any defects linked to this. That means sometimes this defects becomes requirement. Okay, so in that case, you want to look into this. What defects exactly are related to this requirement? Okay, if there is an option, if the people update here, so there will be development activity, and there is also called RTM. So requirement traceability. So we'll go through this pretty quick once. Requirement traceability is, that means you want to make sure. So what is RTM? RTM is requirement traceability matrix. What's that? It's, you want to make sure all the test cases should match at least one requirement, right? That means you have written some test cases. Is it matching the requirement? That's the, that's what the RTM is all about. So what is RTM? Requirement traceability matrix, where you want to make sure all the test cases are, at least match one requirement. Okay, so that's the RTM. And test coverage, you want to see how much is being executed and how much, you can view this, I think so with RTM, is the job of a tester. So we, as a tester, we will be, we'll be matching that. So we'll just, okay, so let's quickly check on RTM. Somebody, asked a question, right? So who does this RTM? So let's, look into this. So, just let's finish this. Okay. And so these are the modules, okay, various modules. You can view this, you can go through this, if, just if you need access, or, check with Tagore, and, we can give you access on this. But you get this, this is the requirements module. Then you have various, sub requirements, various iterations that goes on, okay, various releases, okay. So, you can check on that. So let's go to the next module, that is test plan module. Okay, so here, so whenever you write test cases, let's say if you have access to this HPLM, okay, you want to write test cases. Now there is so many things here, which where is the project and what we are doing here. So that's what I recommend to anyone is start from writing your own, creating your own folder or own directory. Okay, let's say there is a lot of things goes on. You don't know which application does your belongs to. You don't know which is one. There's thousands of projects going on. Thousands of people are doing something. We don't know. So what you need to know is which project does you belong to. Okay, that's the important thing. Which project are you working on? Once you, let's say, successfully figure it out which project, go ahead and click on this. So you will find a lot of things again in this. So, what I recommend is always, so you don't know where to write test cases. So what you do is, try creating a folder, try creating a directory here. Once you create it, okay, here you can, just like this, I've created this directory and, okay, let's, let's create a directory. Make sure, once you click on this directory, that means you are creating subdirectory. So you don't want to click here and, click, that becomes, sub-level directory, and we don't want that, okay? We'll just click here and we'll just put it. Okay, and let's say if you have created, once you have created this, so this has why don't we just refresh it? Okay, good. Now, you need to always refresh here. Here you need to do a lot of manual work. Okay, whenever you create something, just always need to refresh, because this directory may not get updated. The information may not get updated immediately, or some issue. Okay. So you don't, you want to refresh it always. Okay, just click this button, refresh button, and this shows up on here. Okay, so now you have just created directory, not just anything. Now you need to create a test case, right? So now if you want to create a test case, here it's kind of creating a framework. Okay, so it's a framework because this is just a folder, and folder is empty, right? And you need to put something in that folder to show it up. Okay, so that's the reason you need to create a test case. Here's a test case. Okay, so let's do one thing. What I'll do is I'll copy this and just put it here. Okay, good. Now I've successfully created a test case. So this is, I need to check it out. This has some, we just check it out. Okay, good. So before editing, right, you need to check it out. Okay, so we cannot edit in check-in. So once you check it out, so this is different option here. So not always this is there, but just put this. Okay, so now let's say we have, so you see this unlock option here, green color. That means this option, this test case is checked out. To check in, you need to click this button, check-in button, which is located in the upper right corner. You see it here. You see this one test is checked out by IT_Manu. Okay, so this is whenever you are creating test case, it will be in checkout option. Whenever you want to put into it, then you need to check in. So that means you are putting some into the test environment. Okay, that means you're creating something. Okay, here, let's say we have successfully created a test case, and let's say I already have this test case, so I'm not writing any test case here. Okay, so we already have this test case. Steps here. Let's go one by one. Okay, so here you need to fill up all this in the details. Again, as we have done in Rally, you have done in Jira, you need to fill up all this information. If you're not filling up this information, the developer won't know. Okay, so this tester job. So test lead will be reviewing your work. So he will not be. If he doesn't know, then he will come back to you. Why this information is not filled? Why don't you put that information? Okay, so you don't want such kind of things to getting back to you, right? So you need to fill up all this information. So this red color, you see this red color, level, review, type, that means that's a mandatory. You cannot skip that. Remaining, you can skip it. In the real time to know which project it is and which sometimes developer posts which project, which build. Okay, you cannot skip all those information. You need to put information there. If you don't know the information, again, coordinates. Coordination is the key. Go ahead, coordinate with your lead, coordinate with the developer, coordinate with the project manager, coordinate with the, product owner, whoever is responsible, whoever, go ahead. Most of the time, I would recommend to coordinate with the lead, because your lead, will be working with you with these test cases. Okay, so, once you fill up this information, okay, let's say you're reviewed, not reviewed, and priority medium, so just this name, creation date is, let's say, this 20th, just put 20th. So I have good reviewer, so this is who is the responsible guy, we'll put that lead name here, so he or she will be reviewing my test cases, and based on that, is it good or not, so then we'll be moving on that. Okay, so this is the lead name who will review your work. Okay, you cannot just put your test cases just like that. Okay, I'm done. Now I have to start testing. No, first it has to be reviewed by a lead. Okay, without reviewing, it cannot just say okay. Okay, and the status, it's in design. Once it's ready, just put it ready. And how much test effort is it required? Let's say we'll just put in 10 test priority. Just test ID. Okay. Version number. So all this information should be filled. Without filling this information, you cannot escape. If you escape, then it will come back to you. Okay. So this is it, pretty much in the details option. Then you have this, design steps. Here you design the test case. By clicking on this, write each and every step here. Okay. Once you write it, just like I've written like already there. Reviewer means it's not exactly supervisor, it's like lead. So your manager doesn't review your work, okay? Because your manager will be only responsible for how you are working, what the direction, what you need to do, and not how you need to do. How you need to do is it's your job, nobody will tell you. But the direction, what you need to do is come from your manager, not from anyone else. The lead is the one who reviews your test cases. Because why? because your boss doesn't have any technical information whatsoever on the given application. The boss is always interested in getting the results, getting the work done, not interested in your like how you do it and why you do it. It's not all the things. Okay, so that's why you need to be careful to do very you need to do very careful. Okay, so reviewer is not exactly supervisor, but in one way yes, because it's the lead who will be working on, but it will be lead. Reviewer will be your lead. Okay. Okay, so you have these 5 test cases. You can edit. For editing here, you can just type it here itself. Okay, you don't have to click on edit. You can just type it here on double click. Yeah, you can use this. This shows up. Okay, you can use that one for the edit, and you can delete it. You can copy step. So here the copy means you're copying in the same page. Okay, so if you want to copy these steps, go ahead and click on control, and whatever steps you need to here, and copy this, and you can paste it some other location, but the same framework. This should be in the test cases. Okay. So that's about the test cases, and once you once you're done with it, okay, so go to the parameters. So here, if you need parameters, if you're working on POP scripts or QTP scripts, so there you need the parameters. Otherwise, this is not really required. Attachments, let's say you have some attachment, you want to show your lead something which is not really there, or is something which really requires while testing, all those things you can put in the attachment. Test configurations, if you have any configuration issues, put in configuration. And this is, oops. Okay, so this is, here we go, right. This is RTM. Okay, so this is RTM, requirement coverage. Let's do this. Okay, so once you have this, once you put your, in the requirement coverage section, click on select requirement. So which requirement should be covered? So here what you are trying to say is which requirement you're covering. So click on this button, this umbrella, icon, choose this umbrella icon. That means how much requirement is being covered. Now this actually you're browsing this requirement section here. So this small pop-up, not exactly pop-up, sidebar shows up, right? Suddenly you see this right hand side, this sidebar shows up. Here you're actually looking in the requirement module. Okay, this is no different thing. Okay, we already seen the requirement module. Okay, now you need to figure it out which requirements are you really working on. So that test cases you're written. So which exactly does that requirement belongs to? So now you found out that this is for GM Online. Okay, so now what you do is either click on this and click on this and add to coverage, or just pull it and drag it here. Yeah. Okay. So whatever dependent requirement is also shows up here. You see this? This is dependent, right? Because they made it here as some child object for this one. Okay, so that's the reason that also shows up. Okay. So this is what RTM. That's it. What is RTM? You want to make sure all these test cases, whatever you have written, okay, so this is the test cases you have written. What are you showing up here is this requirements is being covered. So all the test cases should at least match one requirement. Okay, so whatever test cases we have written, this is matching with GM Online. So that's what we are trying to say. Okay, it can have, it can be more than one requirement, 2 requirement, 3 requirement, that's fine. But what's important is all the test cases should at least match one requirement. Okay, so this is the requirement. So if you click this, it directly goes to that requirement. Let's try this. Okay, good. You see this? No, we just went to this requirement and this is shows up here. Okay, so that's RTM. Okay, link defects. No, this is really, this is not really required in this module. I don't know why this is there in link defects. Okay, this technically is not required because you are not linking defects in test plan. You are not doing anything in test plan. Only thing you are doing is writing your test cases. That's it, and RTM of course. Not anything other than that. If you really ask me, this is really not required. This module. Okay, so you have the other options. History. So this is about test plan. Any questions in test plan? So once you've done this, check in. So check in that you have done all this, you have covered it, and check in. Once you check in, you want to make sure that that updated requirements, if you are checking out and putting as updated or new test cases. Now in this case, I'll put this new test cases. Okay, and then click on it. Okay, that gets updated in version, and we close it. Now this, we successfully updated the test cases for this. Okay, so we know how to write test cases. So I'm not talking about how to write test cases here. The way you have to do this. No, I'm just explaining that. Any questions so far? Okay, so we just go to the next module, test lab. Okay, so what you do in the test lab is execute these test cases. Okay, again, you have a lot of, it's similar. You see this test plan, you have all this test lab. Again, it's a similar directory structure. Okay, again, you don't know which project you have here. Technically this is all not required, but still, you have to use this. And now again, you need to figure it out which project you're working on. Okay, let's say luckily I found my project. Here, what you need to do again, put your name if possible, because you don't know where it is going and what is happening, because thousands of projects are running around, thousands of people are working on which project, which name, who is working on. This is pretty chaos. Test management to be honest, it's pretty much chaos. If you don't put your name, somebody might take it out, somebody might delete it. Okay, and nobody knows. Okay, so there's pretty much chaos goes on when you are using HPL. Okay, so here, let's say I figured it out. I was lucky and I figured out which project is mine. Now I need to create here test lab. Okay, again, like a framework, to create a test set. Okay, here. Okay, what you. So let's do this. Okay, let me create this. I'm clicking on this project and creating one test lab, putting its name. Again, make sure you fill up all this information. Baseline, mention on that. March 28th, change by close date 22nd, created at today, created by me. Default environment, we want to put this. There are 3 environments, right? Production, staging, testing, development, right? So 4 environments. So here, we'll just put here for the namesake. Max run duration, we'll just put as 10 for now. Open dates. Open, just put as 9th. Responsible, who is responsible tester? Is me. Status, I'm going to put as open. All this information. So once you fill up all this information, right? If you have description, go ahead and put the description. If you have attachment, Go ahead and click on the attachment and click on OK. Oops. That's a good thing. So here you also have type. What type? Is it functional? Is it default? Is it performance? Here, let's we just keep it default. Click on OK. Okay, good. Now we have successfully created a framework for this, um, for the test lab. So this is the test lab, and we have created our test cases. So just because we have created, we cannot see any test cases here. We cannot see here anything. We need to pull out what? Test cases. Okay, to pull that out, click on select test, which is located here, upper, menu. It's not a menu bar, it's kind of information bar here. Let's click on this. Here again, the sidebar pops out. Your sidebar in the right side. Here what you are trying to navigating here is the test plan. What you have done here in the created test cases, that you need to look here. Now I need to figure it out which project we were working on. Okay, well, let's say now I figured out my project. I'm lucky, so I got my project. What you need to put here, click here and click on add test to the set. Okay, you can either do that or pull this out and put it here. Okay. Now this is once that's done, you close it. If you want it again, click on select test, pull out all that information from test lab. So what you're trying to do here is in the test lab, whatever you have written is you're pulling out here. Okay. I mean, I'm kind of really, why do I need to do all this? I have already written it. I want to execute it, right? Why I need to go to test lab again, a different module, understand a different user interface, again, pull out all this information from there. This is, it's kind of, you are losing time here. Okay, so you're losing time on an unnecessary work, which is really not required. So when large projects shows up, this becomes really stressful, because half of the time you're wasting only to move your test cases from here and there. Okay, let's say you figure it out wrong test case. Again, you click on this here, figure it out which project you're working on in this. You need to find a needle in this haystack, and you need to pull it and put it here. Okay, so that's a little bit tedious work. Okay, so let's say there is more test cases to be selected. So we'll also select from January test cases. And pull out these test cases. So you can put multiple test cases here. For let's say you want to do for Chrome, let's say you want to do for Firefox, let's say you want to do for Mozilla, Safari, okay, and so on. Okay, so that sets of test cases you can pull out here and execute in one shot. Execute in one test lab. Okay. Let's refresh it. Okay, good. Now, here it's supposed to show up some result, but it's not showing up. Now you want to execute this test case, right? Now we have done all this. Now you need to execute all this. So, the one option here is, you just select this, click on run. Let me just put it run. You click on run. I don't know what C is for. Again, click on run, begin run. Okay. Now, here you need to execute one by one. Okay. So here what it says, like, so we'll just put this, just pretty quick. So what is saying, like, enter the URL in the Firefox browser and hit enter. So let's see if it works. So this is my Firefox. I'm hitting this and hitting enter. Okay, good. So it's working. So what I say is here, what's the expected home page of GMO Online is displayed. Okay, home page of GMO Online is displayed as per the requirement. Always follow the requirement. Okay. So what I do is click on pass selected. Click on this button that the shoe the step mark. And click on pass selected. Okay, now what it says, click on enter GMO online button. Okay, click on enter GMO online button, and this page shows up. What says online page is displayed. Okay, good. Online page is displayed as per the requirement. Okay, click on pass selected. Again, enter the value 10. Okay, so now we have this 10 and click on page and enter. Place an order, but page is navigated to place order. Okay, as per the requirement. So you need to look into these requirements. It's not just writing as per the requirement. You need to look into this requirement. If there is no requirement, you need to have some information on this so that you are doing it right. Okay, so because you don't know it's right or wrong, you need to look into the requirement. So here, click on proceed automatically. Okay, and as per the requirement. Proceed with order. Okay, good. Click on this. Page is redirected to online store page. Okay, enter all the information and click. Okay, so let's say here we, there is some issue and we are not able to redirect it to this online store issue. Okay, let's write some issue here. Okay, and page is directed to this, but there is an issue. Let's say some issue in the field or okay, so information here is inappropriate. Okay, so what you do is here now instead of passing it, you want to fail this. Okay, you want to fail this step. So click on that. So here what happens, right? Even if one test case is failed, the whole test set is failed. Okay, so don't think, okay, only one test case is failed. No, whole test case is failed. Now, what you do is end run. You want to end this. Once you end this, as I told you, like whole set is failed. So this whole status is now failed. So now here you can see which one is failed. Okay. So this is how you can execute this. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, if no questions. Okay, so here, right? So here's the, what is the important thing you need to remember, right? You don't, you never do this thing. Okay, you cannot just say, okay, it's failed, I'll just put it past. You can't do that, okay? Because, all this history is being recorded here. What time did you execute? And what how much time did it take to move from one page to another? So every information here is, the time here is, is showing up everything here. So you just, just because you want to show it up and, you want to put it past, you'll get cash. You seriously will get caught on this, okay? Because all the time, so, the moment they'll ask you the question, your lead, how will you be able to put this status in past when it was failed before? How were you able to put this in past when your execution time doesn't show any information there? Okay, so that thing you have to be very careful. Unless specified by your lead, your manager can put in blocks, not applicable, no run, not completed, but you cannot just put this failed status to pass just like that. they will review your work, and you will be you definitely will get caught, because here all the information here you have this. Okay, so you cannot just click it. You need to run once again the whole set. Okay, once it's failed, you need to rerun the whole set, or you can rerun the same thing once again, or yeah, the same thing would be good, because here it just gets updated with a new result and updates in the history tab. So in history, it's, everything shows up. Okay, who is doing what with these test cases? Okay, so you cannot just put that status to past once it failed. You need to rerun that again. Okay, so if no one has questions, let's move to the next module, defects. Yeah, so somebody asked us this question, right? So if QA, how does QA need to tell the developer that that test case is failed? We don't inform. We don't inform anything about our test cases. Why developer has to know what is failed or what is passed? We only inform the defects. That is what I'm trying to show you here in the defects. We don't tell developers what test cases has failed and what's not. It's not their job to review our work. It's our lead job. We are not giving lead job to developer, right? We are not telling anything to the developer what test cases are failed. What we are telling to the developer, what the defect is all about, right? We are not telling anything about our test cases to developer. No way. Unless they ask, okay, which test case are you working on? What exactly the test case is? Because they want to know the flow of user. Sometimes they say, no, this is not the right way, because this was not designed to move in such a way. It is designed from another way. So they might have their own logic on that. They might have their own view on that. But otherwise, we are not telling anything, any information of the test pass or test fail to developer, unless they they ask, okay, so how we are doing this, or how we are actually managing your test cases. Okay, other than that, we are not telling anything. Okay, we are only informing that there is a defect, and that's how we are trying to show up here. Okay, so in the defects module, let's say you're using this defects. Okay, click on new defect, and okay, so here we just put here. So again, the same story, to fill up all this information here. Okay, so let's know, why not just use the same previous one I've opened here. Okay, so here you need to, again, as usual, you need to fill up all this information. What is the category? Okay, what is the project you're working on? This red color shows up in mandatory fields, and the black color shows up in optional field. And what is the subject here? When you're working on reproducible, sometimes the defects are not reproducible. Then you need to explain it in detail to the developer, saying that why it is not reproducible. Okay, this is showing up here now, but it's not really showing up later. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes what happens, right? Developer says it's showing up good in my machine. So that's what one time happened, right? When I was working in Barclays, there was one defect. There was an issue in the UI. It's not displaying properly. So then I opened defect. It got rejected. No, this is not an issue. Then I reopened it. Talked to my lead, saying that, hey, look at this. This is a defect which is showing in my system. So let's follow up. So what the lead did. Let's follow up, and he bought. We had a meeting with the developer, and I literally showed my laptop, and look at this. I'm having this issue. And developer was like surprised. Oh, it's working fine in my machine. So in that case, you need to put no, because sometimes it's not reproducible in their system. We don't know. Okay, if that defect got rejected like 2 to 3 times, saying that it's not an issue. But again, it was issue, and it was later, it was found out that that's a different issue altogether. So then in that case, you need to make sure, is it reproducible, yes or no? And detected by who is the person who is working on, in assigned to, who is the developer, assigned to who is working on this. Okay, and all this information. Once you fill up all this information, you need to put in description too. Okay, so what the issue is, in screenshot, and screenshot. Without screenshot, I mean, at least to start with, okay, later once you get used to, you will not put any screenshot, that's up to you. As I still make clear to not the developer, to everyone in my whole team, saying that this is an issue. Look at this screenshot. I might lie. My lead may lie, but not screenshot. Just look at this. Okay, not just screenshot. Just look into this website. You also have this URL. Just go it and navigate it, because developer does that work. Okay, once you show the screenshot, they do, and they find out, is this real issue, and they come back. Okay, so this is really very important, because if you are not putting screenshot, as I told you before, you will be just having ping pong. The developer, developer says not an issue, you come back, it's an issue. Again, developer says not an issue. So you don't want to do that, because after that, you get a call directly from your boss saying that, hey, what's this all about? Why it is not getting fixed, and why it is not? So you need to answer all this. So all that things to be avoided, it's better to have this screenshot, unless you really, not interested or something, or you don't want to do this. Otherwise, screenshot is must. So once you do this, okay, hit enter and click, and you open a defect. Okay. Any questions so far? So here you have an option. Oops. Okay, you have attachment. As I told you, you can put an attachment here. Linked entities. There are. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay. So here, what you want to do here is, right, you have this defect, right? You have this defect, and okay, 137. So what defect number is 137? You have opened defect, but you are opening multiple defects. Not just one, two. You are many opening defects, and lead has their own work. He has to manage a lot of things. So you don't know which test case you have written. You have written 4 to 5 test cases, and you need to link which test case does that belongs to. So what you do is, go to the test lab, not test plan. Go to the test lab, click on this. Okay, click on this, and go to the link defects and link this defect to this. Oops, not this. Click on the number 137 and link it. So here, what happens, right? This is, to make sure, that whatever defect you have opened is linked with this test case. Okay, because lead will check all this. So if you don't link it, so it will come back to you why this defect was not linked. Okay, so this is one thing. If you are opening right from the test, test lab scenario, you don't have to link, it gets automatically linked. But we are opening separately, so it has to be manually linked. Once you link, this icon shows up here. Okay, it doesn't show up. Let's refresh it. Okay, good. Now it shows up, this link icon, this chain link. Okay, this shows up here. That means this is linked with some defect or some requirement or something. That's why when you click on this, this shows up all the linked information. Is it linked to the requirement? Okay, so this test cases should also be, as per my knowledge, it's also supposed to be linked with the requirement, because how do I know which test cases are you writing for which requirement, right? So if business analyst gets, which test cases is this? What is this all about? So if you don't link it, to your requirements, okay, requirements, because we have this project folder, maybe that thing gets started out, but otherwise, you need to link the requirements to which requirement is it and which defects. Okay, this shows, okay, you're on the track. Okay, let's say you're opening per day or 2 defects or 3 defects. We need to link all this. Okay, linking is very important. So once you link this, here also, gets the link. Let's put refresh. Okay, click on this. So this shows, how many defects it is linked to. Oops. Refresh. No, here you go. Okay, this is shows which community. So that's about defects. Okay, let me quickly go to pretty quick, linked entities. Okay, so here's the thing. What happens, right? Sometimes, when you open defects, let's say you have opened defects, and so that's a priority issue, and you are given to the developer. Okay, developer right away rejects that defect. Okay, he rejects it with no reason. He doesn't say anything. Okay, so don't expect too much information from developer saying that, okay, why it's rejected. Don't say the first. He rejects it. So sometimes, now, you figure it out. Okay, what's going on? Why this rejected? You go ahead, talk to the developer. It says this is already issue. This, we know that this is an issue. You are creating a second defect. It's not required really to open second defect. So, but you don't know. You already created. How do you know who is working on this project? Who is working? So you need to check, with what defect was it created, who created it. Some UAT guy, some regression guy, or some architect guy, we don't even know, created some issue, and we are not aware of this, and suddenly developer rejected. That's not good. So what happens, right? Okay, so what you need to do is, let's say you figure it out some issue, which issue is that, and let's say we figure it out some defect. Okay, let's say 113. So what you need to do is you need to link an existing defect. Okay, 113. So what is this shows? That means if this defect is resolved, your defect is automatically resolved. Sometimes this is the dependent defect. Once that defect gets resolved, this defect automatically gets resolved. Okay, that's what developer wants to say to you. That means we don't care about this. This is no more. It's hard. We have already taken care. This is we are working on this. We don't create any more defects on this. This is already there in the system. We are working on it, and we don't need any more defects. So in that case, you need to link this so that you want to make sure this is a dependent defect. That means if that defect gets fixed, this defect gets fixed. Okay, so this is why you need this link. Other instance, if it is linked with the requirements, if it is linked with the test lab, not test plan. Okay, so we are not anyway talking about this test plan. Test plan is only for writing test cases. Don't create unnecessary confusion, because this really creates a lot of confusion. You have test cases. No, I want to link here. Just because you are having this option here, don't do this. Okay, just leave the test plan alone, because it creates unnecessary confusion. Okay, because let's say I have already linked this. Look at this. I have linked this, so that doesn't work, because you need to link on test lab. Okay. Just it would be really confusion if you are using test plan to leaving the defects. I would personally suggest, unless client really uses that, go ahead with that. Otherwise, I recommend not to use that, because there is no need of test plan for linking the defect. Test plan is only for creating test cases. That's it. You want to use for other purposes, use test lab. You're using test plan, then don't use test plan. Okay, otherwise it just creates unnecessary confusion. Okay, and that's about. So you see all this information here: development activity in history. So that's how you can use this HPLM for your project. but this is pretty much obsolete if you ask me, because this really requires really little bit labor work to do this. But other tools like Rally, take it Rally, or take it Jira, or take it Team Foundation Server, those are simple where you write the test cases, you execute the test cases there itself. You're not creating a separate thing and pull out from there into here and creating confusion. Why test plan? Why test lab? Okay, why do you have to use this? And all this is really not required in other tools. This is only a tool which requires all this. Any questions? So here's the thing, right? If today was actually the homework due, right? Okay. So if no one were able to write test, what was that? Yeah. Homework, try it in Jira. Okay, just try it in Jira. If not, even if you don't like Jira, that's fine. I'll give you access to Team Foundation server. Go ahead and write it there. All these are same tools. Different company, different way of doing work, different lifestyle altogether. But same thing, same process. Creating test cases, executing the test cases, reporting to the developer. That's all the tools does. Okay, so that's all. There's no different things. So if you cannot use that, use a different thing. That's what the option is. Okay, if you cannot use that, use this. Okay. So if no one has any questions, can we close this class for today? Yeah, tomorrow, we'll work on uh, tomorrow. I'll just give you introduction and QTP. We'll just go through a little bit, pretty quick QTP introduction, and if you happen to get a regression testing, just go ahead with that. Because the reason, right, you need to be a little bit broad-minded. That's if there is no QA, why don't you go in regression testing? If you're really interested, why don't you go in regression? If not QA, if not regression, why don't you go in EDL testing? Why not in the data analyst? Why not in lead? So you need to keep your options open so that you can, because you are the one to get the project, not me, right? I'm not, I don't care, you get or not. But if you are keeping your options open, why not QA, why not QA lead, why not, okay, let's not worry about QA lead, why not data analyst, why not ETL, why not regression testing, QTP, why not Selenium, a lot of keep your options open, just review our work, 1 week, that's more than enough, just refer to it, notes, videos, and YouTube videos, and, just refresh it, and that should be good, okay? So that's the because you're the one to get the job, not me. Okay, so just keep in mind. Okay, that's the reason. Like I'm explaining about one regression testing so that you'll have some idea on QTP. Okay, thank you guys.